Country so rotten by corruption that two of its ex-presidents were arrested. Know that corruption is inevitable in countries like Brazil, but this corruption scandal was on another level. So, what led to the downfall? It's an interesting story. The politicians and high-level officers at the largest petrochemical semi-public company, Petrobras, saw a golden egg-laying opportunity. It was the construction of one of the world's biggest, most complex oil refineries, thanks to the newly found oil fields near the east coast of Brazil. The name of the project was Comperj, Rio de Janeiro Petrochemical Complex. Being a semi-government company, Petrobras was highly influenced by the politicians. Even the bidding process for the project was biased. A group of companies led by Comperj formed a sort of pact and took turns to obtain the contract among themselves, removing the need for the process of competitive bidding. They bribed the officers and ministers to obtain the contracts in cash, which was laundered through a car wash located in Rio de Janeiro. And here the problem starts. This is what gave rise to the Operation Car Wash. Police suspected the car wash as a cash laundering scheme for the criminals, but little did they know that this exact car wash laundered money for the government. Alberto Yusuf, a famous money launderer, was caught. During his trials, he warned his lawyers that if he opens his mouth, the republic would fall. And trust me, it did. Top officials at Petrobras and the government, including the president and two ex-presidents, were charged against corruption. Like Batista, richest man in Brazil with a net worth of $35 billion, was sentenced to 30 years in prison for money laundering. Ex-CEO of Odebrecht was sentenced to 19 years in prison. 200,000 people lost their jobs. Massive impeachment process with at least 1 million people on the streets of Brasilia happened. Unemployment rose to 14% and GDP crashed. To give you an extent of this corruption, here's an example. Petrobras paid $1.2 billion to buy a refinery facilities, which Belgian oil company bought the same for $42.5 million. Project estimated to be around $4 billion is now $64 billion. I would try to cover more stories in my next videos. Please like, share and subscribe.